Let me ask you something very personal right now. Last night, what did you do in the 2 hours before you went to sleep? Did you eat something? Watch TV? Skip your medication? Maybe you went to bed without drinking any water because you didn't want to wake up at 2 in the morning? If you are over 60, I need you to listen to me very carefully right now, because what happens in those final 2 hours before you close your eyes is not just about sleep quality. According to cardiovascular research, those 2 hours are the most dangerous window of the entire day for your heart and your brain. And tonight, I am going to show you exactly why. My name is Dr. William Carter. I have spent decades working with patients in their 60s, 70s, and beyond. And I want to tell you something that most doctors simply do not have time to say in a routine checkup. The majority of heart attacks and strokes that happen in adults over 60, they do not happen during exercise. They do not happen during stress. They happen quietly, in the dark. While you are lying in bed, completely unaware, completely defenseless. And in almost every single case I have seen, there were warning signs, not inside the body, inside the bedroom routine. Tonight, I am going to walk you through 5 nighttime habits that are silently putting your heart and brain in serious danger. And I am going to give you a simple, practical evening routine that costs nothing, but could genuinely save your life. Stay with me through habit number 2 especially, because that one surprised even some of my most health-conscious patients. It is the one nobody warns you about. But first, I need you to understand something about what actually happens to your body when you sleep, because this changes everything. Most people think sleep is just rest. You close your eyes, your body powers down, and you wake up refreshed. But that is not what is happening inside you at all. When you fall asleep, your cardiovascular system, your heart, your blood vessels, your blood pressure, it enters a very precise biological cycle. Your blood pressure is supposed to drop. Your heart rate is supposed to slow down. Your arteries are supposed to soften and relax. And your brain, your incredible brain, actually flushes out toxic waste products that built up during the day. When this cycle works the way it is designed to work, sleep is the single most powerful form of protection your heart has, more powerful than most medications. But when something disturbs that cycle, when your body is fighting against something you did before bed, the opposite happens. Blood pressure rises when it should fall. Your heart rate stays elevated when it should slow. Your blood becomes thicker. Your arteries tighten. And in a body over 60, where the arteries are naturally a little stiffer, where the heart is working a little harder every single day, that disturbance does not just mean a bad night of sleep. It can become a cardiac event, a stroke, a moment your family gets a phone call they were not ready for. I am not saying this to frighten you. I am saying this because you deserve the full truth. And I believe that when you understand what is actually happening inside your body at night, you will make different choices, starting tonight. So let us go through these habits, one by one. Habit number 5, eating too late or too heavy before bed. I want you to think about what happened in your kitchen last night. What time did you eat dinner? Was it a light meal or a heavy one? Here is what most people do not realize. When you eat a large meal close to bedtime, within 2 to 3 hours, your digestive system sends out an urgent call for blood. Your stomach, your intestines, your liver, they all demand extra circulation to process what you just put in. That forces your heart to pump harder and faster at the exact moment it is biologically programmed to slow down and rest. Your blood pressure rises, your heart rate stays elevated, and your body is stuck in a state of internal conflict between digesting and resting, and it cannot do both well at the same time. Now here is the part that rarely gets mentioned. Late eating makes acid reflux significantly worse in adults over 60, and nighttime acid reflux is not just uncomfortable. When stomach acid creeps up the esophagus, it can actually stimulate a major nerve called the vagus nerve, and that nerve is directly connected to your heart rhythm. In older adults, that stimulation can trigger irregular heartbeats, what doctors call arrhythmias. that become life-threatening when they occur repeatedly overnight. I had a patient, I will call her Beverly. She was 68 years old. She came to me complaining of feeling exhausted every morning and occasional fluttering in her chest at night. She ate dinner every evening around 8:30 p.m. and was in bed by 10. She felt completely fine during the day. When we put a heart monitor on her for 24 hours, we found that her heart was producing irregular rhythms, repeatedly, between midnight and 3 in the morning, every single night. Not because of disease, because of dinner timing. We moved her last meal to 6 p.m., reduced the portion size, and cut out the heavy carbohydrates at night. Within 3 weeks, her overnight heart rhythms had completely normalized. She told me, "Dr. Carter, I had been doing that to my heart for years without knowing. The rule is simple. Finish your last meal at least 3 hours before you sleep. Keep it light. Your heart will thank you in ways you will actually feel." Habit number 4. Going to bed, even slightly dehydrated. Now this one surprises almost every patient I tell it to, because the instinct for most adults over 60 is actually the opposite of what the body needs. As we age, our natural thirst signal gets weaker. Your body can be significantly dehydrated and you will feel almost nothing unusual. Many older adults also deliberately stop drinking fluids in the evening to avoid waking up for bathroom trips at night. And I completely understand that reasoning, disrupted sleep, is genuinely frustrating. But here is the medical reality that comfort is hiding from you. When you are dehydrated, your blood becomes thicker, physically thicker, more like syrup than water. Thick blood moves slower through your blood vessels. Slow-moving blood forms clots more easily. Now, combine that with the natural slowdown that happens during sleep, when your heart rate drops and circulation slows, and you have created nearly perfect biological conditions for a clot to form while you sleep, travel to your heart, and cause a heart attack, or travel to your brain and cause a stroke. One study found that even mild dehydration increased the risk of overnight cardiovascular events by more than 60% in adults over 55. 60% from not drinking enough water. I want you to hear that again. Not from a rare disease, not from a genetic condition, from something as common and invisible as not drinking enough water before bed. The solution does not require midnight trips to the bathroom. Drink 1 full glass of water 1 to 2 hours before you sleep. Use the bathroom right before lying down. Keep a small glass on your nightstand in case you wake up. That is it. That simple change could be the difference between waking up tomorrow and not waking up at all. Are you finding this valuable? If you recognize any of these habits in your own routine, drop the word "yes" in the comments below right now. It tells me this information is reaching the people who truly need it, and it might just catch the eye of someone else who needs to hear this too. Habit number 3. Sleeping in the wrong room temperature. I know what you are thinking. Room temperature? That sounds too simple to be dangerous. Stay with me, because the science here is something most people never hear about. When your bedroom is too warm, above 72 degrees Fahrenheit, or above 22 degrees Celsius, your body works continuously throughout the night trying to cool itself down. Blood vessels near the surface of your skin stay open and dilated to release heat. Your heart rate stays elevated instead of dropping into its slow, protective nighttime rhythm. You sweat, which further thickens your blood. And your sleep becomes lighter and more broken, which means your body never reaches the deep restorative stages where real cardiovascular repair happens. Your blood pressure never achieves its natural nighttime drop. And over weeks and months of sleeping too warm, that adds up to serious cumulative stress on an aging heart. But here is something even fewer people know. Sleeping too cold is equally dangerous. When the room temperature drops below 60 degrees Fahrenheit, below 15 Celsius, your blood vessels constrict sharply to preserve heat. Your heart has to pump against much greater resistance. In arteries that have already stiffened with age, that sudden constriction can literally crack the buildup inside the artery wall and trigger a heart attack within hours. The research points to one ideal range, between 65 and 68 degrees Fahrenheit or 18 to 20 degrees Celsius. That is the window where your heart rate naturally falls, your blood pressure dips as it should, and your sleep reaches its deepest, most healing stages. Check your thermostat tonight. A room that feels perfectly comfortable to you may be 2 degrees outside the safe zone for your heart, and your heart, unlike you, knows the difference. Habit number 2, undiagnosed sleep apnea. This is the one I want you to pay very close attention to, because this condition is currently affecting millions of adults over 60, and most of them have absolutely no idea. Sleep apnea is a condition where the airway partially or fully closes during sleep. When that happens, breathing stops, sometimes for 10 seconds, sometimes 30 seconds or more, and in serious cases, this can happen hundreds of times in a single night. Every single time breathing stops, the oxygen level in your blood falls sharply, and every single time that happens, your brain triggers an emergency alarm. Stress hormones flood your system. Your heart rate spikes, blood pressure surges, then breathing resumes, oxygen returns, and seconds later, the whole cycle starts again, over and over, hundreds of times, while you believe you are sleeping peacefully. Research has found that untreated sleep apnea dramatically multiplies the risk of overnight heart attacks and strokes, and studies estimate that the vast majority of moderate to severe cases in adults over 60 are completely undiagnosed, not because people are ignoring it, but because the person experiencing it is asleep. They do not know it is happening. The warning signs are these: loud, chronic snoring, waking up feeling like you never really slept, no matter how many hours you got, morning headaches, feeling exhausted by midday, blood pressure that is hard to control even with medication, a partner who tells you that you stop breathing or gasp in your sleep. If any of those sound familiar, please do not wait. Talk to your doctor about a sleep study. This is not something to monitor and see. This is urgent. I had a patient, a retired school teacher I will call Carol. She had snored for 15 years. Her husband had moved to the guest room. She was embarrassed about it, but assumed it was harmless. One night, during a severe apnea episode, her oxygen dropped so dramatically that her heart developed a dangerous, irregular rhythm. She woke up in the emergency room. The cardiologist told her she had come within minutes of not surviving the night. She now uses a CPAP machine, a simple breathing device worn during sleep, and her nighttime blood pressure has dropped significantly. She calls it the machine that gave her husband back and her life. And now, habit number 1, the most dangerous of all, and I promise you, almost no one is talking about this one. Habit number 1, skipping, delaying, or mistiming heart or blood pressure medication. If you take any medication for blood pressure, heart rhythm, or cholesterol, this section is for you specifically. Please do not look away. Your blood pressure follows a very precise rhythm across every 24-hour period. In the very early morning hours, between 3 and 6 a.m., your body begins preparing to wake up. Cortisol rises, your heart rate increases, and your blood pressure climbs sharply. Doctors call this the morning surge. In a person whose medication has been taken correctly and is still active in the bloodstream, that surge is managed. It rises within a safe range. But in a person whose medication has worn off or who skipped a dose the night before, that surge hits with nothing to hold it back. The pressure inside the arteries spikes dramatically. Plaques, the buildup inside artery walls, can rupture under that force. Clots form instantly, and within minutes, a heart attack or stroke is in progress. Research published in major medical journals has shown that taking blood pressure medication in the evening rather than the morning reduces the risk of overnight cardiovascular events significantly. And yet the majority of prescriptions are still written as take in the morning, not because evening is wrong, but simply because morning is the default habit that has never been questioned. I am not telling you to change your medication schedule without speaking to your doctor. I am telling you to have that conversation. Ask specifically, is evening dosing safer for me? Could my medication be wearing off before I wake up? And in the meantime, do not skip doses. Do not take them 4 hours late. Do not assume that because you feel fine, your blood pressure is fine. It may be spiking to levels that are causing serious damage, silently, in the early morning hours while you sleep. Set an alarm on your phone. Put your medication next to your toothbrush. Do whatever it takes to make this non-negotiable, because I have sat with patients who would give anything, to go back and take that one missed pill. I want to tell you about a man I will call Gerald. He was 72 years old, retired, and by most measures, healthy. He walked 3 times a week. He watched his diet. He had been managing high blood pressure for 8 years, and he did well, most of the time. But Gerald was what I gently call a selective patient. He took his medication on the days he remembered, skipped it when he was busy, stopped drinking water after dinner, ate his largest meal of the day around 8 p.m. because that was when he and his wife enjoyed sitting together. And he kept his bedroom at 74 degrees because he liked feeling warm when he slept. None of those things felt dangerous to him. Each one, individually, seemed like a small personal preference. One Wednesday morning at 5:15 a.m., his wife woke up and reached for his hand. It was cold. Gerald had suffered a massive cardiac event in his sleep. He was rushed to the hospital and survived, but the damage to his heart was significant. He spent 6 weeks in cardiac rehabilitation. The first time I visited him after he came home, he looked at me and said, "Dr. Carter, none of it felt like a big deal. Every single habit you just described, I was doing all of them, and I thought I was fine." Gerald is doing better now. He follows his evening routine without exception. He asked me, directly, to share his story, because he does not want you to learn what he learned the hard way. So let me give you the simple evening routine that puts all of this together. This is practical, completely free, and research suggests it can meaningfully reduce your risk of a nighttime cardiac event. At 6 to 6:30 in the evening, eat your last meal. Keep it light. Lean protein, vegetables, simple portions. Nothing heavy, nothing fried. At 8 p.m., drink a full glass of water. Take any evening medications exactly as prescribed. Set your phone alarm so this never gets skipped. At 9 p.m., begin winding down. Dim the lights. Step away from anything emotionally stimulating, heated news programs, stressful conversations, social media arguments. Let your nervous system begin its shift toward rest. At 9:30 p.m., set your bedroom temperature to between 65 and 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Place a small glass of water on your nightstand. At 10 p.m., use the bathroom fully before lying down. Take any final medications, and as you settle into bed, take 5 slow, deep breaths. Breathe in for 4 counts. Hold for 2. Out for 6. Do this 5 times. It activates your body's natural calming response and signals your heart rate to begin dropping. That is your entire routine. It takes less than 10 minutes of intention spread across your evening. And the return on that investment, a heart that is protected, not stressed, while you sleep, is something no medication alone can fully replace. Before you go, I want to say something directly to you. Your heart has been working for you every single minute of your life, for 6, 7, 8 decades, without stopping, without complaint, without asking for a day off. It deserves these few minutes of protection every evening. You are not powerless here. You are not at the mercy of age or genetics alone. The choices you make in these final hours before sleep have real, measurable impact on what your heart and brain experience through the night, and it is never too late to start making better ones. I want to hear from you in the comments. Tell me, which one of these 5 habits surprised you the most? And how old are you? And where in the world are you watching from? I read every single comment, and I genuinely love knowing that this information is finding the people who need it. If today's video helped you in any way, do me one small favor. Hit the subscribe button right now and turn on the bell notification. Because every single week, Dr. William Carter brings you clear, honest, practical health information designed specifically for adults who want to live longer, feel stronger, and stay independent. Your doctor cares about you. but they may not have 15 minutes to sit down and walk you through everything you just heard today. That is exactly why this channel exists. Share this video with someone you love tonight. A spouse, a sibling, a neighbor who lives alone. You may never know whose life you quietly protected by passing this along. Take good care of yourself. You deserve it. I will see you in the next one.